to be an apprentice, the first thing you need is a mentor. Then you find your shop, then you find your instructor for your program, and then you're in there. This quote right here that Nipsey Hussle just said, I made my way through the maze and I left some clues for you. Now it's up to you. Are you going to take heed and get paid and scream my money in until your dying day? Are you more the type to have your mind enslaved? What we represent as this new generation, is people that get straight into the barbershop and we get paid, we make income, and we're living our dream life a lot faster, okay? I simply want to shed some light on some simple principles that helped me get here at this point, because everybody had a mentor. Even Nipsey Hussle, Jay-Z, Warren Buffett, if you look back at all the greats, they had mentors, right? And I would not be here if it wasn't for the mentors I gained. And it's time for you guys to do the same. And it's so easy. For me, I started out with 10 local mentors, and I rated them on a list, scale of 1 to 10, which ones I could start with and practice. The reason I say it's easy is because you can practice with the ones that aren't your A-list mentor yet. This is the concept of value and giving value. The thing that helped me the most was establishing my worth. We create our own worth, and through your Instagram, through your social media, through everything you do, you're a walking billboard. You create your worth, and it's all up to you and your confidence. A lot of times you start out at the bottom with your confidence and you build it up. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. That's chapter 5 in the documentary in the Apprentice Barber Journey, the Go-Giver. We've all heard the term go-getter, which is someone that can go get their goals, but this book takes a different route, and it says the principle of value says your true worth is determined by how much you give in value rather than take in a payment. By giving more in unexpected ways and not expecting anything in return, you're actually going to get more from people. And we don't do this by a strategy of keeping track, of how much things we've done for someone. But if you genuinely want to help someone and you genuinely want to learn, it's going to work for you. From the nappy-haired kid in Ohio, 18 years old, to now, and I've successfully tracked down some of the most quality mentors in this industry. You're about to get my secrets now. As an aspiring, young, upcoming barber, I'm about to share with you because I understood, it was difficult to get started. So, a little less mindset and a little more straight, actionable steps. Now, we already applied the principle of giving and keeping a 3-to-1 ratio. Every time you get something from a mentor, even if they just give you some knowledge, you got to give 3 things in return, and that's going to make your relationship grow and keep it going on the up instead of crashing down and being like 90% of people who only take from their mentor. So with that said, that was the one key to my success getting mentors. The next principle is to be consistent. Consistent. I was like, man, I gotta find this map. I'm in Ohio, I don't really know a whole lot of barbers. And I found this guy on Instagram who's cutting Ezekiel Elliott and other pro athletes that, went from Ohio State with him, and now they just have him as like their personal celebrity barber. And I realized I could just go and learn from him, and he would give me the map. So what did I do? I found his Instagram, and I decided to send him a DM. Now, getting started, I had no idea how to go about getting these mentors. I just knew that I needed to find them, and I needed to figure out how I was going to get in this industry, get in a barbershop, make income, and reach all my other goals of, providing for my family, helping my mom, making sure everything's taken care of. And that was very stressful, and it took me what feels like years, and now I'm about to sum it all up in this video. Without further ado, the Instagram DMs from Cuts to Motto. But I started out and I said, look, I'll be in the Columbus area tomorrow if you're available to talk, or I'll book an appointment. I know your schedule's tight, either way is fine. But I'm considering an apprenticeship in California. I just saw someone walk by and it scared me. I'm considering an apprenticeship in California, but I haven't spent much time in a barbershop. So I need to hear your thoughts. And he said, cool, no problem, let me know. I said, I'm willing to book an appointment. That basically says, look, I need your advice. I'm willing to pay for it, all right? I talked about humility score, how most people are outwardly humble but inwardly cocky. I'll do my best to, show that I was inwardly humble by saying, look, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I don't even need a cut, but I'm going to just pay for your time. And, I told him my goals. I said, look, I have no idea how to reach my goals, but here it is. And I'm stating that I'm going to be an apprentice in California. I need to hear your thoughts and get your advice. And his response is pretty amazing. If you think about, most people are afraid. We have these fears. We all have our fears that, a mentor is going to turn us down or shy us away or say, it's wasting my time. But the truth is, they want to help. They want to give back. You know, when I first got here, I was shocked at how much Chuka was willing to help me out. Like, I didn't have a place to stay at first, and he was willing to let me sleep on his couch. You have to be fearless, and you have to be consistent. Now, I'm going to touch on the consistent part as I read through these next messages. I said, okay, I got it, thanks. And I went there that first time. That was in February. Next thing you know, 2 days later, sent a follow-up message and said, thanks again for the advice and that cut. I'm ready to work and use all the pointers you gave me. I'll be back in March, whenever works best. He said, no problem, bro, anytime. Now, notice how his messages are short. That's because mentors are gonna be busy. They got a lot of shit to do, and you know, they're gonna take the time for you, but they're not going to go out of their way to teach you. You gotta seek it. And if they don't feel like you really want this knowledge, you know what I mean? They're not gonna go out of their way and say, hey bro, did you do this? Did you make sure you're keeping up on your, watching your YouTube tutorials? Did you buy this new tool? Did you blah, blah, blah? Nah, they're focused on their path and dominating where they're going. They have their purpose and their mission. So 2 days later, I followed up and said, thank you. It's very important that that could be one of your ways of giving value. You know, when I talk about keeping your 3 to 1, that's one of them right there. Maybe you just say thank you for your time. I followed up in March 7th. This is the following month, and I said, am I good to come by and shadow either tomorrow or Thursday? And he said, yeah, either one is fine. So I just want you to notice there that was exactly 1 month later, after I had already promised that I was going to be coming back in March. So what does that do? I just became a man of my word, and I followed up. So April 12th comes by. This is exactly 1 month later, and I said, I'm gonna come this afternoon and watch a cut or two if that's okay. He said, cool. And I learned so much in these 3 times meeting him, and that was just the beginning of the relationship. And I just want you guys to understand the value of being consistent and giving and being fearless. Most people are afraid to reach out to a mentor, and I went through that same hurdle. But I'm here to tell you that your mentor wants to help you. They literally want to see a younger version of themselves. Like, I guarantee you, when I'm 50 years old and an 18-year-old kid comes up to me and he's got this story of how he's hungry and he's gonna like help his family, and he's the one he's determined, you know, to make it, and he wants to learn from me. You think I'm gonna tell that kid no? What do I look like telling that kid no, right? We've all learned from somebody. My most influential mentor yet, if we look at his messages, let's go ahead and type him in. Chuka. I'm scrolling to the top right now. This is in July of 2017. I mentioned him in my story, and that same day, you know, he responded and put the praying hands with the 100 symbol. And I was shocked. The fact that he even saw it and responded, that was enough right there to get my mind rolling. So I said, hey, expect me at the shop when I moved to California. I made mistakes as a young barber, but as an apprentice, I could learn a lot from you. And I said, thanks for all the game. Now, if you notice the qualities, they're just continuing, okay? I stated my desires. I said, thank you so much, you know, and I appreciate the game. I said, you can expect me at the shop, you know, I could learn a lot from you. Once again, I'm putting my humility in action. I'm not just saying it, you know, I'm showing that I'm gonna show up, and I wanna learn, and I'm thankful for what you've provided so far, just the game. And 2 weeks later, he said, for sure, holla at me. That message pretty much changed my life. Earlier in this course, I talked about a moment where maybe you listened to a song, or you saw a video, you saw a quote, something that just hit you, and in that moment, you're out there thinking of the possibilities. When I got this message and I read for sure, holla at me, I took that as like my next opportunity. So I just said, look, is it possible we can talk? You know what I mean? Like, I know it's 4 a.m. on Cali time, but I'm in Ohio and I'm booking a one-way flight to Sacramento. And I talked to Deluxe. Despite any adversity, when my ebook is published, before it's published, I hope we can meet. And once again, I had to, you know, establish my patience and just keep being consistent, because for 2 weeks he didn't respond again. And so every day I'm checking my phone, and at this point I'm on the edge of my seat. And I'm writing out my vision board, and I'm documenting all these videos as if I'm already, you know, an apprentice. And let me go back to our message. At some point, you know, about 2 weeks later, he says, yes, we can. I'm sorry for the hella late reply. And that message was at 12 a.m. for me. So that means it was actually 3 a.m. And I woke up the morning of that message and I was juiced. I said 5 words. Game on, quick phone call. Once again, I had to wait 5 days for a response. And then he said yes. Actually, he didn't even say anything. He just put his phone number. I remember clicking that thing and I was shocked that he responded, that he put his phone number down. And then we had a 10-minute phone call that changed my life forever. And it all came down to being prepared. On that phone call, I gave my sales pitch. And in that YouTube comment, I wrote down that I noticed that he said that barbers need to sell themselves. So a lot of times, my mentor Chuka says, a lot of times barbers don't want to sell themselves. In the YouTube comment, I was like, oh, I just noticed he said sell themselves. I'm going to write mine down now. And he even replied to that, and he's like, that's what's up, bro. Make sure you write it on here or tag me. That was around the same time that I just got his phone number. So I said, bro, what do I got to lose? And I clicked call on that phone number. I probably shouldn't even show you all this, but I clicked call on that phone number. And next thing you know, I'm on the phone with, the owner of the Rich Barber, the creator, the founder. And I'm like, this is pretty insane. I just manifested this out of thin air. What I gave him was my elevator speech. It's a 30-second persuasive sales pitch where you get their attention. And I'm going to show you guys how to get any mentor's attention within 30 seconds. And it's crucial that you do that in the first 30 seconds because they don't have all day. It turned into a 10-minute phone call, but it's all really crucial to what I did in that first 30 seconds. So I established my gratitude. Once again, I applied those same principles. I said, hey, how's it going, Chuka? I'm Joel. How's your day? That was the very first part of the conversation. And then I said something along the lines of like, look, I love cutting hair. This last couple years of my life, I've been in college. I got a job as a sales rep at a company, and it turns out, my passion is cutting. I quit the job, I dropped out of school, and I went all in with hair. It's my passion. I love it, and I want to be an apprentice, Chuka. And I appreciate you taking your time. I know you're very busy. I always just looked for the opportunity, and the steps seemed to present themselves. And I just wanted to ask you if there was an opportunity for me to work for you for free. Like, could I take the weight off of your assistant's shoulders? Could I literally take any weight off of anyone's shoulders at the Rich Barber? I want to help. And I mentioned the word opportunity probably 15 times, in that first 30-second sales pitch, or elevator speech is the best way to put it. And putting together that little speech right there changed my life because the impact it had on Chuka was that I was a go-giver. And it's very important that you remind your mentor of themselves when they were at your point on their journey. So I know Chuka was a very hungry, aspiring and ambitious mindset type of person when he was younger. And he probably heard himself in that phone call. He heard the hunger and the drive and the passion behind, and just the transparent, authenticity behind what I was saying. And, he started to be really receptive to what I was saying in that call, and I couldn't believe what was happening. He started to say, all right, well, where are you from? When will you be here? And he just started entertaining the idea. My world was lit up. The truth is, when you buy someone's advice, when you take their advice, you're buying into their lifestyle. Most people don't want to be great. There's a book, Good to Great, and if you want to be average or you don't want to be great, then we don't need mentors. A mentor is only for someone that has a desire to be great. Even if you guys said something like, look, I spend 100 hours a week cutting hair, and you put together an elevator speech that's just attention grabbing, I know it's going to work for you. I know you guys are willing to put in the work. I know you guys have the ambition, and I want to just help you along the way. Even if you just said something like, I'm putting in 100 hours a week cutting hair. I've made 3 different shop owners my mentors, and I'm learning from all your videos. And you could even make it about them. A great thing that I did with Chuka was I talked about his products. I asked him questions like, hey, what did you become an owner? How did you do this? And the truth is, we love ourselves. So if you can make your elevator speech involve your mentor at all in any way, even if you just talk about how you learned from them in specific ways and how they've helped you or how you relate to them, talk about all that stuff is going to help. And just like Nipsey Hussle, he said, are you going to take heat and get paid and scream all money in until your dying day? Or are you more the type to have your mind enslaved? You know, I know you guys want to save and get paid, and that's what apprentices do. So with that being said, this is the Millionaire Mentor Roadmap, and it's up to you to put this in action, to, you know, work on your elevator speech and be fearless, be consistent, most of all, give and expect nothing in return. Now that we've covered how to give value, I'm going to show you guys how to create influence and impact.